How tight do you think it's going to be with Mitt Romney?
When your name is Barack Obama, it's always tight.
Welcome back. That comment may be in jest, but maybe not. Let's bring in our table right now. Of course, we're joined by Dominic Carter, political journalist, author, and our senior political correspondent, Andrew Whitman. Now, tonight, you got a sense of not only how tight the election promises to be, but also just how nasty. Now, a story in today's Times, you may have seen or heard a little bit of it, is basically this. The GOP weighs hardline attacks on Obama, and in the piece, if you go through it, it outlines what can only be called vicious proposed $10 million ad buy designed to renew questions about who the president really is and what he believes. But there are two twists to the story. One, the people behind it have now walked away from it once it was discussed in detail who they were and what they were going to say. And secondly, there's nothing new in this attack. In fact, if you closed your eyes, you'd swear we were in 2007. It simply redirects the voters to what they may have already known about or heard about and rejected in the 2008 campaign. And Andrew, we're back to the future or back to the past, I guess. I couldn't believe when this thing came out. I couldn't believe how quickly they retracted.
There were any number of elements to this story, Rich, that had me wondering how and why it was happening. The proposed ad, which I've seen a storyboard workup of, would have hit the president in a lot of ways we've heard before. Weakness in the economy, debt, disagreements about his priorities. But this planned ad also seeks to renew questions about the president's views on America itself, and it brings back a well-known name and face to do it.
No, no, no. Not God bless America. God damn America.
President Obama's former pastor Jeremiah Wright there. The ad would also have used another Wright quote from his first sermon after the 9/11 attacks.
Now we are indignant because the stuff we have done overseas is now brought right back into our own front yards. America's chickens are coming home to roost.
This ad was to have been funded by, surprise, surprise, a conservative billionaire, Joe Ricketts, the founder of TD Ameritrade. He's also the owner of the Chicago Cubs and the world's largest retailer of bison. Can't make this stuff up. His foray into politics, though, is the super PAC that we got the name of it up there, Ending Spending Action Fund. Even though, as you may have figured out, Reverend Wright has zero to do with spending or economic policy. One more note, Ricketts' daughter Laura is a big-time fundraiser for President Obama, particularly within the LGBT community, of which she is a member. The ad is not going to air, not going to be produced, we believe, after both Ricketts and Romney camp walked away from it after the Times story was released. A spokesman for Ricketts saying the proposal was only a suggestion. And Mitt Romney himself tried to distance himself from the ad, telling conservative magazine and website Town Hall, quote, "I repudiate the effort by that PAC to promote an ad strategy of the nature they've described." So Romney repudiates the PAC and the ad, but he didn't repudiate the idea of attacking Obama on Reverend Wright, which would be hard for Romney to do, given what he said on Sean Hannity's radio show back in February.
I'm not sure which is worse, him listening to Reverend Wright or him saying that we must be a less Christian nation.
Now, Romney, as he was repudiating the ad today, was asked about that comment on Hannity's radio show. His response? Let me just suggest you not be drinking anything while you watch.
I'm actually going to, I'm not familiar precisely with exactly what I said, but I stand by what I said, whatever it was. And with regards to, I'll go back and take a look at what was said there.
Yeah, I don't know what I said, but I agree with it. A few more notes on the proposed ad and the reaction to it. The proposal included the reason for producing the ad and some insight on how it would have been done. The reason? The voters, quote, still aren't ready to hate this president. And the production company was advised to hire, quote, extremely literate conservative African American who can argue that Mr. Obama misled the nation by presenting himself as what the proposal calls a metrosexual black Abe Lincoln. Why recycle Reverend Wright more than 4 years after his quotes went public? According to the Times, former McCain and current Romney advisor Fred Davis wrote in that proposal, quote, our plan is to do exactly what John McCain would not let us do, show the world how Barack Obama's opinions of America and the world were formed. Though McCain himself went on the record today saying he would do it all over again, that referring to his decision to block such an ad in his campaign. Meanwhile, Republican strategists started to hint that these types of attacks are just a waste of time. Former McCain advisor Mark Salter telling ABC today, Quote, any day not spent on a topic other than Obama's mismanagement of the economy is a day wasted, which would make today a wasted day for Team Romney. One final point. CNN contributor Roland Martin thinks just proposing the ad is going to backfire on Romney big time. His quote, if the GOP wants to do that, that is focus on Reverend Wright, you're now putting Mormonism on the table. You're putting on the table how African Americans were treated by the Mormon religion. A lot to digest, Rich.
All right. Well, Andrew, let me ask you first. Is this fair game?
Going after Reverend Wright? Sure. Sure, why not? It's part of President Obama's background. My only question from a strategy standpoint is it didn't work in 2008, not going to work in 2012.
All right. Whether it's fair game or not, Dom, is this a good strategy or not? Now, the people behind it said if we were only able to run this ad. Now, again, these were the rocket scientists who came up with the ad, I am not a witch, for Christine O'Donnell, and see how well that thing worked for them. But they were convinced, and I'm sure a lot of others, hey, if we were only able, if McCain didn't hold us back here, and we were only able to double down on the scary black minister and everything else, we'd have a different guy sitting in the Oval Office right now. Is this kind of an attack something that would hurt or help Romney more at the end of the day?
Well, one, Reverend Wright is certainly fair game. I believe that anything that's in your past when you're running for the President of the United States is fair game. Two, be careful what you wish for, because this could really backfire and boomerang on Team Romney. Now, it's important that we keep on the table that Mr. Romney's campaign says we don't have anything to do with this. This is a super PAC associated with the campaign.
We know, after the Swift voting, I think we weren't as a country really prepared for that, really knew what we saw. But when it was all said and done, I think there was this collective thing that said it didn't matter if the candidate didn't do it or not. If they let the thing go, they got their hands dirty with it. And I think everybody took the lesson from John Kerry, which is, I'll never take this crap again, and I'm going to make that guy say, make him stop it now, and if he won't, he'll get blamed for it. So you're right, fair game or not, but if this thing ran, it's going to be on Romney no matter what he says.
Well, let me just say why it's would be a major problem for Mr. Romney. As I've been saying night after night, and it's common consensus, President Obama, has a problem energizing his base. If the Republicans go there, you will have every person in the Obama coalition, progressives, certainly the minority community, they will turn out in droves to vote for President Obama, just like they did in 2008. As of right now, you might be looking at a 10% drop of that base, which could cost Obama the election. If you go forward with Reverend Wright, it will be seen as a play on race. It's almost like calling the president a racial slur.
All right. Now, let me ask you both, and we don't know the answer to this one, but if there was a poll of registered Republicans, okay, or people conservative who identify themselves as conservative, would you like to see this ad run? What do you think the answer would be? You think it'd be more than 50%?
I think it'd be more than 90%.
It'd be about 98%.
And here's why. This is all part of the theory that this is an illegitimate president that never should have been elected. And if only the president had been vetted 4 years ago, like Hillary Clinton didn't vet him, like John McCain didn't. If only the people knew who he really was,
not really an
they
American,
wouldn't vote
that
for
Muslim
him.
guy with a funny name,
Right.
right?
And so this is they're basically trying to win the 2008 election again, which, if you're an Obama supporter, is fine because it ain't 2008 again.
All right.